I'm Jose. I am a seasoned digital professional, and I have a passion for the user experience. Because even any technology, the endpoint is always going to be one of us, right? Even with the whole thing around AI, we're still the influencers, we're still the inputters and the outputters. And what I do is I specialize in delivering well-designed interactive prototypes quickly, ensuring your vision comes to life efficiently and effectively. But I don't just stop there. I have led development teams, marketing, branding efforts to transform your digital vision into a marketing reality. Let me share some examples with you. Derm Squared. So I had to take an existing website that they acquired and basically fold it into their look and feel. And here's some examples of how I did that and how I approached it. So essentially I would reviewed the website that needed to be folded into Derm Squared, understood its function, understood its audience, and how to evolve it from where it was, not only to fold into Derm Squared, but also to make sure that its purpose was elevated, enhanced by a better user experience. Here's another one. PAH calculator. I essentially started with just a piece of paper. And I did work with a really great team of designers, creative directors, and writers to convert that one piece of paper into this very robust physician's tool they still use today to help patients understand their risk with this condition. And finally, is this example Sequado, which is actually a drug under the Novin franchise. And here's me providing an overview of the project. Let's take a look. So I started this exercise by providing the right criteria in reviewing Novin's websites, starting with Sequado, and providing the right tenets in what criteria we should use to review that. And then what we did was we actually then went ahead and looked at some of their, let's say, competitors, but other companies that were, let's say, doing it right. And as you can see here, Sequado, in terms of SEO, was not really charting properly. So that was number one. And then what we did is then we looked at Sequado.com as it was then and called out some key things. Now, another thing to bear in mind here is that one of the challenges we had is we could not change any of the content because it had already been approved by their medical regulatory team, and they did not want to go back through that typically very long process of registering this with the medical review team and having to wait sometimes 6 months or longer. And so what we did was we also showed a couple of those other earlier examples and showed them what are they doing right and where can Sequado learn from. So for example, here we see a very clear, simple call to action. It's not cluttered. It's got everything in the one space, and it's a very specific message. And in this example here, the Humira example, they're actually using some of that hero area as a place to start to insert navigation and ways to get to other content, which Sequado did not have. And so here we created a kind of a pseudo wireframe where we said, let's bring some of those calls to action that were typically below the fold right inside of that hero area, so that that hero area still retains its power, but now becomes a little bit more useful, if not instructional. And we also did that with the other content within the site. And because, as I mentioned, we could not change that content, and it didn't have a lot of content to begin with, we created something that made it feel more like a kiosk, broke it out into its respective categories and types of content. So not only was it easy for the user to understand what they're looking at, but it also helped to use the lean content and make it a little bit more front and center and accessible. We showed them versions on the mobile for those same examples that we talked about earlier, to show them how they're doing it, because they're also wanting to include instructional videos and so on. And so then we broke out into the wireframe exercise, taking what we presented up front and started to map that over to how It can retain the content it has, but improve the UX and improve the user flow so that it becomes a richer, better experience for the user, but also improves the relevance and increases SEO. And that's pretty much it. Thank you. When I create these prototypes and I review what are you trying to say and to who and in what manner, to make sure that those key points that come out that drive a user from one idea to the next are front and center. So from concept to completion, I'm here to make your digital dreams a reality. Let's create something amazing together. Reach out to me today and let's start building your vision. Thank you so much.